Hel- Hello and welcome to WTOP. I'm your meteorologist, Emily Schlachter, and coming up tonight, there will be more rain throughout the week with a possible chance of snow, plus increasing temperatures throughout the week, and thankfully, a sunny Parents' Weekend to come. Back to the desk.
Tonight on WTOP 10 Nightly News, a major vote about unionizing from an Amazon warehouse in Albany.
Plus, how you can donate to a community program during your next coffee run.
And a look ahead at the 2022 Media Summit, coming to SUNY Oswego's campus next Wednesday.
It's Tuesday, October 18th. This is WTOP 10 Nightly News.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Sydney Selleck.
And I'm Logan Stolberg.
SUNY Oswego's annual Media Summit will be held next Wednesday, October 26th at Waterman Theater in Tyler Hall. The topic of this Media Summit is Industry's Underrepresentation of Athletes in Sports Media. The event is named after a professor that taught at Oswego, Dr. Louis B. O'Donnell.
Founded by Lou Borelli, this event gives students a chance to ask questions to the career connectors and gain insight on working in the professional media world. Students will get the opportunity to speak to this panelist and career connectors about working in the professional world. The majority of the visiting professionals are SUNY Oswego alumni. And many are alumni of our very own station. WTOP 10, for any questions or updates about the event, check out the Media Summit accounts on Instagram and Twitter.
The campus community is gearing up for another annual event, the Pumpkin Run. That's right, SUNY Oswego is hosting the run to collect donations for the organization, Blessing in a Backpack. WTOP 10's Matthew Rivenberg is here in the studio with the story.
That's right, the SUNY Oswego campus and recreation is ready for the Great Pumpkin Run. This event has been done for many years. Carrie Barnett, Assistant Director of Campus Recreation, Fitness, and Wellbeing, says the money goes towards children in need.
They put a bunch of food items and other materials in backpacks for students in the area that are in need and don't necessarily get lunches or at school or at home. And it's just a way to give them food and give back to the community.
The Pumpkin Run usually raises about $500. Barnett says her goal is to keep it the same this year. The race will take place this Friday with a 4 p.m. start time. If you are interested in attending, it costs $5 per person, and you can pay at the Marano Campus Center food court. Logan and Sydney, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Matthew. SUNY Oswego is celebrating the retirement of a longtime faculty member, Angela Galvin. Her career started at SUNY Oswego and spanned more than 42 years, starting in academic affairs before finishing her career in the administration and finance office. Galvin is described as a dedicated professional and caring coworker and detail-oriented employee. In 2016, Angela even received Chancellor's Award for Excellence in Classified Service. A small reception will be held this Wednesday in 705 Culkin Hall in honor of Galvin's retirement. Congratulations, Angela.
Here in the city of Oswego, your next coffee run may help the community. Local Dunkin' locations are launching the Dunkin' Spare Change program beginning October 22nd through December 31st. Patrons may consider donating any spare change to benefit the city's Dare to Resist Drugs and Violence program. The Oswego City Police Department is promoting the campaign on Twitter.
The Fulton Savings Bank is donating $1,000 worth of equipment to the Fulton Fire Department for its Community Risk Reduction Educational Program. Donated equipment includes a projector, projection screen, a pop-up canopy, and other items. The fire department is offering a community-based CPR program and is providing local residents with free smoke detectors.
Amazon workers in Albany have voted no to forming a union. More than 900 workers voted today on whether to create the union. The vote was 406 against 206 The National Labor Relations Board officials counted the votes by hand over a live video on Tuesday. The Amazon Labor Union's president, Chris Smalls, says this will not be the end of Amazon's labor union.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams toured an emergency facility on Seekers last night. Compared to the Orchard Beach location, Randall Island is less prone to flooding and has better links to public transit. Mayor Adams says the new site would provide temporary shelter to 500 asylum seekers. 2 weeks ago, the mayor announced he would relocate the site from a Bronx location due to flooding risks.
Kevin Spacey is finishing testifying in his sexual misconduct trial after about 5 hours being on the witness stand earlier today. Spacey is facing sexual misconduct charges from actor Anthony Rapp, best known for his roles on Broadway and on Star Trek. Rapp alleged that at age 14, and then 26-year-old actor made sexual passes at him without his consent. Spacey's attorneys will call a psychiatrist, Alexander Barty, as their next witness.
Now, let's take a quick look at weather with Storm 10 meteorologist Emily Schellgalter.
Emily, can we expect more cold temperatures this week?
So, despite the cold temperatures today, it will be increasing slightly as there is a wet week ahead, a slight chance of snow tomorrow, but most weather increasing and a sunny parents' weekend. Back to the desk.
Coming up later tonight, the Girl Scouts are receiving a large donation.
And promises from President Biden about protecting abortion access. More after the break.
The WTOP 10 Nightly News.
For the governor race with a strong lead, former Governor Andrew Cuomo is...
Barlow announced the completion of a large building mural in downtown Oswego.
The renovations on the Hewitt Union Building, turning it into the new Hewitt Hall.
And as we move into tomorrow, that rain is going to be in our area.
Moving to the Diamond now, as Sweet Caroline got a lot sweeter last night.
Major Discussions is the new show that explores the stories of students right here on campus. I personally came here to SUNY Oswego for the broadcasting program because I love to hear people's stories and to do work just like this.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. The pressure's too much. I quit. I get it. I can do better. Just please don't leave.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
Currently, we have a occluded front moving out as another cold front tends to move in. Coming up tonight at 10 p.m., it's going to be cloudy with a high of 42. At 12 a.m., it's going to keep getting colder and drop to 39. And at 3 a.m., it's still going to be cold, but now at 36 degrees. Coming up tomorrow, we're going to have a high of 46 with chances of showers with wind coming from the south at 10 to 13 miles per hour with a chance of 24-mile-per-hour gusts. Here's a look at the 7-day. Wednesday, it's going to be a high of 49 with a low of 39 and showers. Following with Thursday, more showers, another high of 49 with 36. Friday, it's going to have a high of 56, a low of 45, and mostly sunny, along with Saturday and Sunday, with Saturday having a high of 66, along with Sunday, and overall just clear weather over the weekend. Back to the desk.
Thank you, Emily. We have a look at some massive waves on Lake Michigan yesterday that pummeled many of the lake's iconic lighthouses. Experts say the waves were as high as 16 feet and caused by a severe windstorm. These types of storms are usually seen in mid to late November. A school district in Northwest Indiana says signs with certain social justice messages are political and must come down. The signs include a rainbow LGBTQ pride flag with the message "Love is Love," a raised black fist for Black Lives Matter, and a raised pink fist in a Venus symbol for feminism. The teachers had to take down the signs. The superintendent says that under Indiana law, they are considered a political message.
Girl Scouts got a large donation from philanthropist Mackenzie Scott. Scott donated nearly $85 million to the organization. It is the largest donation the Girl Scouts have received since their founding in 1912. The money will help the organization with the impact from the pandemic. The Girl Scouts plan to support volunteers and staff and develop diversity and inclusion programming to make the troops more accessible to all.
The government is introducing new programs to relieve student debt. Ivan Rodriguez will break down how to apply for the program, who is qualified, and what it could mean for you.
President Joe Biden touting the formal launch of the application process for the administration's student loan forgiveness plan on Monday.
If you have federal student debt, please visit studentaid.gov.
Borrowers with federally held student loans are now eligible to apply for up to $10,000 in debt cancellation if they make less than $125,000 per year, and as much as $20,000 if they were also Pell Grant recipients. Relief is also available for graduate students and parents who borrowed Federal Plus loans if the borrower meets the income requirements.
In total, more than 40 million Americans can stand to benefit from this relief.
The Department of Education says it will email at least 8 million borrowers who will be considered for debt relief but don't need to apply because the department already has their income information. This phase of the administration's debt cancellation program is building onto a pandemic-era pause in federal student loan repayment that is set to restart in January.
The Department of Education has told us that if you apply for debt cancellation by the middle of November, you'll be able to get your student debt canceled before payments restart.
Advocates say this is an important move toward easing the financial burden of higher education on Americans.
We look at this application as the first step towards not only unleashing the full potential of borrowers and students and parents, but of the entire economy.
Borrowers looking for relief have until December 31st, 2023 to apply. In Washington, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
To start the process, applicants are asked to submit their full name, date of birth, phone number, and social security number, and an email address.
Borrowers who may exceed the income requirements will be asked to supply additional information. Scientists are explaining an event in a space on October 9th when one of the most powerful gamma rays bursts have ever been recorded by telescopes. According to NASA, gamma ray bursts create the most powerful explosions in the universe. Scientists believe the burst occurred when a massive star, which is about 2.4 million light years away, collapsed into a supernova explosion and became a black hole. Astronomers are saying a burst like this won't happen again for decades.
President Joe Biden says he will push for the next U.S. Congress to codify Roe v. Wade as long as the Democrats could keep control of the legislature. The president made the promise during his speech in Washington, D.C. the legislation would protect abortion rights. Biden says he intends to sign the bill into law around January 22nd, which is the 6th anniversary of the Roe v. Wade decision.
Coming up, a new face appears on the quarter.
And parents are outraged at a Missouri school district. Find out why after the break.
This job looks perfect. It says you need a high school diploma. You've got one of those, right?
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
I got that.
Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Major Discussions is the new show that explores the stories of students right here on campus. I personally came here to SUNY Oswego for the broadcasting program because I love to hear people's stories and to do work just like this.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. Parents at Jana Elementary School in Florissant, Missouri are outraged. Recent tests are showing that children have been exposed to radioactive lead inside and outside the school. The radioactive contamination stems from waste dating back to World War II. Lead exposure can cause serious health concerns such as damage to the brain and nervous system, as well as lead to lead to developmental issues. Families are attending school board meetings and demanding answers from school and city officials.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture is offering debt relief to thousands of financially struggling farmers. Over 13,000 farming operations are estimated to receive over $800 million through this plan. The money will come from the $3.1 billion designated for farmers under the Inflation Reduction Act. The relief also applies to thousands of farmers who have lost their farms due to foreclosure.
According to a new study, women who frequently use chemicals to straighten their hair may be at higher risk for developing uterine cancer.
In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has a look at the data and what studies lead author Hope's woman take from the research.
It's a popular way to straighten hair, but chemicals and relaxers may increase uterine cancer risk over time.
These products can contain a lot of different chemicals of concern.
Alexandra White is lead author of a new National Institutes of Health study which followed more than 33,000 women for nearly 11 years.
Women who reported using chemical straighteners or relaxers had about a twofold higher risk of going on to develop uterine cancer.
White says that estimate is for those who reported using the products more than 4 times in the previous year. A majority of those who reported using straightener in the study are Black women. In 2022, the American Cancer Society estimates there will be nearly 66,000 new uterine cancer cases in the U.S., and mortality rates from the disease are rising, particularly among Black women.
So these chemicals are placed on your scalp and they can be absorbed into your bloodstream, and then they circulate throughout your body.
In another study, the same researchers found that permanent hair dye and straighteners may also increase breast and ovarian cancer risk.
A number of factors can influence a woman's risk to go on to develop cancer, but this is one potential source of exposure to chemicals and potentially carcinogens that women could be aware of and could make choices to not use these products.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Women in the study also reported using hair dyes, bleach, highlights, and perms.
However, the researchers found no link to uterine cancer risk with these products. Hollywood actress Anna Mae Wong will be the first Asian on U.S. currency. Starting at just 14 years old, Wong rose to fame and became the first Asian American film star in Hollywood. The Wong Quarter will be the 5th released this year as a part of the American Woman Quarters program. The U.S. Mint is expected to create more than 300 million Wong Quarters.
New research shows people 50 and older who get less than 5 hours of sleep a night are at higher risk of developing serious health problems. The study, published in the PLOS Medicine Journal, examined the sleep habits of nearly 8,000 people. Researchers found that sleep-deprived people had a 30% higher risk of developing cancer, heart disease, stroke, and other chronic conditions compared with people who slept about 7 hours a night. WTOP 10's Zach Mash is here with the latest in Laker and pro sports.
Zach, what's going on in the world of sports today?
Well, the NBA's back tonight, and cross country was in action this weekend right after the break.
Hi, I'm Megan.
And I'm Donna.
And this is the Sunset Show. Grab your low-rise jeans because we're taking it back to the 2000s.
Let's go, girls.
Uggs and low-rise jeans.
Together.
One of the boys, boy.
Sorry, it's my agent. He told me that you're canceled.
Shebangy, shebangy, shebangy.
Welcome to the burial ground. Must-see also in all of sports entertainment.
Welcome back to the Kind of Lake Show, where we talk about anything and everything going on in our lives and yours.
Well, my birthday was November 13th, so it's been quite some time.
I think at the end we saw him get up.
I get that. I can't.
It's a winner, and I did bring you sweater for everyone.
There you go! I know your dreams. You started the paper throwing, just the immaturity. You lost before you even argued.
Pretty insane that the Clippers, 10 of the last 11 postseasons, they're in there.
The Oswego State men's and women's cross-country teams were both in action Saturday in the Canisius College Alumni Classic, and there were several standout Laker performers among the 156 and 170 participant fields. Sophomore Faith Coyle and freshman Christina Gaskevitz finished 43rd and 79th among their fellow competitors on the women's side, while sophomore Andrew Deming finished 86th on the men's side. Both teams will hope to perform even better at home next time as they host the SUNYAC Championship event on October 29th. The Syracuse Orange football team continues to climb up the AP rankings after this Saturday's 24-9 victory over number 18 ranked North Carolina State on Saturday. Behind two scores from ACC wide receiver of the week Oronde Gatson, the Orange now stand at number 14 in the poll, making this just the second team Syracuse football has had ranked in the top 25 since 2001. To top it all off, they'll face their toughest test yet this Saturday, facing the number 5 ranked Clemson Tigers in Death Valley. Over on the ice, the New York Rangers were in action Monday night as they took on the Anaheim Ducks at Madison Square Garden. The Blue Shirts stayed hot in this one, winning a high-scoring matchup by a score of 6-4. Micah Zibanejad has picked up right where he left off in his red-hot 2022 postseason, adding a pair of goals in the victory. The Ducks continued their sluggish start, falling to 1-2 on their young season. Both teams will be back in action on Thursday night. And finally, the NBA is back for the first time since Golden State took home their 7th championship back in June. The 76ers will be in Boston, and Golden State will be back in action as well, taking on LeBron's Lakers. There's plenty of storylines this season around the association as always, and we'll finally be getting some answers to some pressing questions starting tonight. It got started off pretty good, though, as Russell Wilson led the Broncos down the field for a 51-yard field goal to open the scoring in this one. But Russell Wilson would not be done yet. He actually started the night 10 for 10 with a touchdown to rookie Greg Dulcich, who scored a touchdown in his first NFL game. As we go to the next possession now, the Chargers would score a touchdown as Austin Eckler plunges into the end zone to get the Chargers on the board. They'd add another field goal to tie it at 10-10 as Russell Wilson launches one of his signature deep balls to KJ Hamler here at the end of the half. The Broncos would add a field goal to make it 13-10. It's tied at 13 now as Justin Herbert throws an interception that was deflected, but it's fumbled by the Broncos not once, not twice, but 3 times, which is finally recovered, which sets up a Brandon McManus 48-yard field goal to take the lead back 16-13. The Chargers would tie it up later in the fourth quarter at 16, but the action really gets started here in overtime as the Chargers punt, as became customary in the second half, but the Broncos return man runs into his own man, muffs the punt picked up by the Chargers, setting up a game-winning 39-yard field goal attempt for the Chargers to win it 19-16. The Broncos continue to struggle. Don't go anywhere. We'll have our final story for the night right after the break.
The Kinda Late Show with Chloe and Anna. Like licorice, Twizzlers, absolutely nasty.
The thought of turkey is just nauseating.
I think you're wrong, is what I think.
You think I'm wrong a lot of time.
I do think you're wrong a lot.
Look at that, it's so sad.
Here's our weather outlooks. Again, we're supposed to be on Saturday. And that's optional.
Before we say goodnight, our last story is about a sweet team-up between McDonald's and Krispy Kreme.
Yesterday, the two companies announced that McDonald's will start selling Krispy Kreme donuts at 9 locations across the Louisville, Kentucky area.
The select restaurants will carry free of Krispy Kreme's most popular pastries, including its original glazed donut.
It's part of a small test for the companies, and the new menu additions will only be available for a limited time. Krispy Kreme says customers can expect the donut rollout to start on October 26th.
You know, when I first heard when they were gonna team up together, I was like, "What? That doesn't make sense. Why would you mash something sweet and salty together? Like, imagine putting hamburgers with your donuts. That does not sound right. Am I alone on that? Come on.
What's wrong with two things that taste good going together?
I mean, I would never put a donut and a hamburger together. This is not right, man. I could never make that decision.
The donut's for dessert.
Yeah, exactly, but not with it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too good. But that's our report for tonight, so be sure to stay tuned for major discussions.
Thank you for watching, and have a great night, everyone.